Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.
Good evening, Millwall fans, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? By public demand, we're here. You asked for a weekly show. We're going to try and give it to you. How often we could do it every week, who knows? But if we get enough traction and enough of you tuning in and listen to us, then of course we'll do our best to make sure we're available to talk all things Millwall. To my left or my right, depending which way you're looking at the moment, I've got the Sicilian godfather himself, Angelo Miliotto. How you doing, Angelo?
All good, Joe. All good. Looking forward to having a little chat about our Millwall.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm really gutted that we can't play your theme, Angelo. I was hoping to do the Godfather theme again this week, but we're told apparently due to copyright laws, we can't have any music. So that's a thing of the past, sadly. And also Steve Saturday Night Fever. We won't be able to play that one anymore either, which is a bit of a shame.
It was funny last week.
Yeah, it was good. And also, talking about Steve, he's actually away with a calf strain. Apparently, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, so he's not going to be available at the moment. He's sunning it in the south of Spain, I believe, sipping on a pina colada at the moment. So, hope you're enjoying yourself, Steve, if you're tuning into this, and we'll look forward to seeing you come back. But stepping in is someone who doesn't need no introduction. Our Danish correspondent, the one and only Jesper. How you doing, Jesper? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. Thanks for being on. Looking forward to a little chat.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And ladies and gents, you know, what these two guys don't know about Millwall ain't worth knowing. You ask them what their wife's birthday or their anniversary is, they ain't got a fucking clue. But when it comes to Millwall, they'll tell you everything. So let's crack on with the show. So let's go very, very quickly to the comments. Last week, guys, I spoke to you guys off air, didn't I? I said we'll try to do the comments at the end of the show, but it's so hard sort of going backwards and forward. We talk about topics, we're going backwards and forwards. So what I want to do is I want to go through the comments as we go along. So let's start off. So Carl Bracey, how you doing, mate? Hope you're all well. Andy, evening. Hope you're good, mate. Hope everything's all right with you. Carl, why do all refs hate Millwall? I'm sure we'll touch on that in a bit, Carl. Ollie, I think we was unlucky last weekend, but we'll be worried. Only 4 points out of 14. Again, lots of things we're going to be talking about. We'll probably cover these off soon. Ollie, 15. Don't know what that means. If that's your age, I don't know what that means, but good to have you there, mate.
I think you just corrected the points tally from 14 to 15.
Oh, right, 15. Yeah. Good, Ollie. Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Jeff, evening, mate. How are you? Good to see you. And Gary, how are you, mate? Good to have you join with us. David Stevenson, evening. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're all good. And Andy, how are you, mate? Luck of the 9 blind bastards regarding the injuries. Mate, it wouldn't be Millwall, would it, if it wasn't to have that kind of rotten luck, unfortunately. So let's start off. Angelo, performance against Luton. What's your thoughts on that game?
I think Luton shaded the first half, but we definitely shaded the second half. Do you know what? In all the teams that we played so far, nobody's blown me away, and I thought, oh my god, this team is unbelievable. Like, you know, we could have easily won that game, but again, it's like I think with Millwall, we need to, especially at home, it's always better just to get that first goal, isn't it, mate? Get the first goal, crowd lifts it up, and then we sort of like home and dry. But I think we deserve the draw. That's the bottom line. I think we deserve the draw on Saturday. So I was a little bit obviously disappointed, mate. But that guy, Chong, the guy with the funny hair, I was very impressed with him, mate. Do you know, I've always watched him on telly, and I've never been that impressed, but he did impress me. He was very, very good.
Yeah, he's. I don't know how old he is now, but I think like any youngster when they first come on the scene, they probably try too hard sometimes with little fancy tricks and flicks and whatever. And once they kind of like learn their craft a bit, you see a little bit more end product. And he certainly looked their brightest spot. Jesper, obviously you were watching that on the stream or TV. What did you make of that performance? I mean, was 1-0 a fair reflection of the game, or do you feel we deserved to win it? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think after the game, I was fairly disappointed that we didn't get anything. But having had a couple of days to sort of how to put it, sort of to roll back the game and think about it again. I think Luton is just a really, really solid side who reminds me a bit about us. They're very solid in the back. They're not the sexiest of team, but they got the job done. And I think at the end we had the chance or the chances to at least get a point. But I think it was always going to be a physical game. We saw that as well, and there weren't many clear-cut chances in that game. But I think, as Angelo said, I think a draw would have been a fair result, considering the chances we created in the second half. So, yeah, a bit bittersweet, and 4 points from 5 games is it's a bit lukewarm, if you put it that way. So yeah, a bit disappointed, but again, we were up against a good team, and I'm sure they will be up there come the end of the season.
Yeah, Jesper, why you mentioned that, you talked about points and you talked about created chances and things like that. I mean, what did you make of Luton's chances? I mean, obviously they scored through is it Mengi? I think his name is their defender.
Yeah.
Would you say it was a good finish, or was it a bad goalkeeping? What did you make of that?
I don't necessarily think it's bad goalkeeping. I think the second he hits it, I think Coburn runs straight into the line where the ball is coming, and I think Jensen he's blocked. His view is blocked, and he just sees it too late, and it goes in. I think that's. I've looked it back on it, and I can't see any other reason. I think that's why he's gesticulating with his hands as well, that he couldn't see who he's doing that at. I don't know, but. Yeah, I think his view is just blocked, really.
And Angelo, what's your thoughts on the goal conceded? Again, I'll ask you: do you think Jesper could have done better with that chance that they scored with, or do you feel it's just a great goal? Hats off to him.
There was a couple of errors, I think, in that goal. I don't lay any blame with Jensen, mate, because he had 3 or 4 bodies in his line. It's a great finish by the guy. But I think where the first error was the Jensen and Bryan going for the same ball. Like that didn't help matters at all. Do you know what I mean? One of them should command that and clear it. So then the ball gets recycled in a bad area, and then we're just not closing them down, are we, mate? I think Dinor was the closest, but he just wasn't close enough to block the shot. But yeah, so I don't blame Jensen. I just blame we just didn't close it down, did we, mate? But fair dues to the guy. It's a great finish, mate.
Yeah, no, it was. I also just want to say a little mention to Rob. I met you before the game at the concourse. Really nice having a good chat with you. We talked about Millwall and appreciate your feedback on our show. Gave some great bits of pointers and advice. And there's another fellow I met. I didn't quite catch your name, mate, but again, lovely meeting you. And guess what, guys? I actually met the lovely Rosalind, and she didn't punch me. So Rosalind, I don't know whether you're in here or not, mate, but yeah, lovely meeting you, and I appreciate you not knocking me out, so thanks a lot for that. The question I need to ask you guys, and I guess the elephant in the room is Josh Coburn. I mean, he had a fantastic debut for us, didn't he? I think he won man of the match as well from memory, and we're obviously hoping to see a lot more of that in the next coming games. And as luck has it, unfortunately, so disappointing. He actually, goes down to injury. We believe it's a calf injury, and it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks out. So, Angelo, how costly is that to us, and how's that going to affect the style that we're playing going forward?
Just before we talk about that, Rosalind, I just want to say Joe has not stopped talking about you since Saturday. Rosalind is, yes. Yeah,
for the reckon, Rosalind, it wasn't me. It's the group chat. Everyone's trying to wind me up. So yeah,
right. Yeah, listen, it's a big shame, isn't it, mate? Because I made a point that I used to hate that 4-2-3-1 with Bradshaw up on his own because he couldn't play that role. All of a sudden, within 20 minutes of Coburn making his debut, we've got a guy that can play that role, and he's bringing other players in. He's holding it up. He's playing it perfectly. Yeah. And sadly, we now got to go back to the old system with Langstaff. No disrespect to Langstaff, by the way, but Langstaff's going to be like a Bradshaw because he won't be able to win the headers. He won't be able to hold it up as well as Coburn did. So he's going to be a massive miss. And on that note, Joe, because I don't want to go back to the Bradshaw running around like a headless chicken, I don't want Langstaff to be doing that. I really believe we should now switch it 4-4-2. And give someone up there with Langstaff to help him until Coburn or the BFS, the big fucking Serb, make his appearance, because I'm hoping that the we're going to call him the BFS. I'm hoping the BFS is going to be able to do that role that Coburn done. And listen, there's rumours that he could be on the bench on Saturday, but I just hope we don't rush him in, mate, and then cause another injury and then it goes a little bit longer. I'd rather probably wait one more week, to be fair. But yeah, it's going to be a massive miss.
I agree. And also to your point there, Angelo, David Stevens just commented on here saying we will have to change our style without a target man. And I agree. And to your point, you could go for two up front. Trouble is with our injuries and who we got available, who else do we go with? Who else can partner him up front? We haven't really got anyone. I mean, is it Tom Leahy? I don't know whether he's still available to play.
He's gone to Woking, mate.
Oh, did he really? I don't know. I missed that one out. But we were saying there. And Jesper, over to you, mate. I mean, with regards to Coburn, what's your thoughts on that injury and how is that going to affect us going forward? How can we work around this?
It's just so unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, we finally get the guy in that we want. He has blind of a debut, and then suddenly he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. He couldn't have, written that any more Millwall-like, but we have to cope with it. Langstaff is in the building. He's there to do a job. We bought him for 700,000. So, you have to give them. That's why you have a squad. You need to give trust to these players who's not playing regularly. But I agree with what Angelo is saying, that we sort of need to change our style a bit. I can't see us go 4-4-2 this weekend. We don't have the players available to do it. And you might look at Emakhu and think, could he do a job? But how is that partnership going to work out? Emakhu, Langstaff, they haven't played together up front. So I think that's a bit of a risk. Langstaff seems to be the striker who likes to play on the shoulder of the defense. So maybe they've done some work on that on the training ground this week to sort of change it up a bit, because if we're going to go along with Langstaff, we're not going to get anything from the game on Saturday. That's for sure. So I hope they've worked on some bits and pieces to see how they can sort of implement him better, considering he's not the same size as Coburn is.
And while you're on that subject, Jess, I want to ask you, I mean, lots of people are crying out for Langstaff to get more minutes, get more starts. Could this be his calling almost? The opportunity now to get a good run of maybe 5 or 6 games, depending on how long Coburn is actually out for, and really give him a good chance to get some minutes under his belt, give him opportunity to score goals. And a lot of people are thinking that if he scores 1 goal, that might be the one that kind of sets him off and goes on a big goal scoring spree. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is, what happens. Sometimes players get injured, players get suspended, and then you need to grab your chance when you get it. So this is a big opportunity for him now to show what he's capable of. And if he doesn't grab the chance, we know Ivanovic is probably going to be ready within 1-2 weeks and could probably feature for us. So, he needs to step up now and probably show us why we bought him in the first place.
Yeah, and also just to reel back to yourself again, Angelo, on that point, with regards to sort of more game time. And I spoke to a mate of mine who's dropping off his daughter at Nottingham University over the weekend, and he was there over for a couple of nights, meet a couple of Nottingham County supporters. And he was talking about, Millwall, them and all the rest. And they said, oh, yeah, you got Langstaff. I can't believe you guys ain't playing him. He was amazing when we had him. He ain't been getting starts. We'll have him back now if you don't want him. Yeah, they're really literally uproar about us not utilising him. Do you feel there's a player in there? Do you feel he's got the attributes to sort of be what we need him to be? Or do you feel that maybe just a division lower in capabilities?
Do you know what I think, Joe, right? Let's be fair to the guy, right? What's he had so far? He's had a couple of minutes, like maybe 20 minutes the first game. He's had a couple of substitute appearances. And then on Saturday, he got his longest period of time. He's hardly had a chance, the poor guy, and we're on his back already. He ain't going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And on Saturday was his best performance that I've seen. Yeah, he was darting about. I was praying so much he would have scored that one-on-one, mate. No, obviously I want it for Millwall, but I wanted it for him as well, just to give him the confidence. But,
can I ask you, Angelo? We will talk about this later on in the show, but let's talk about now while we're actually on the subject. Was it a bad miss or a great save, or a bit of both? What's your thoughts on that?
Do you know what I think it was? I think it was a great save and a bad miss. Because
both.
The shot was on target, mate. Yeah, it was on target. It's clipped his boot and it's gone wide, right? But the reason it's a bad miss, he should score, mate. You know, he could either lift it or he could have gone for the other side quite comfortably. And
or around the keeper.
Yeah, and I think I saw an image of him after, and I saw him go like that with his hand, where he thinks he should have
He should have. Yeah. You agree?
Also, I think his first touch was pretty bad, mate. It went just a bit
slightly overhit it.
Yeah, just slightly.
So he almost rushed that shot, then, didn't he? Would you say?
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, great save. I think bad miss, mate. I think he should score there. You know, a guy who scored so many goals.
Do you agree with that one, Jesper?
Yeah, I agree with Ange.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for him. But, you know, when you're one-on-one with the keeper and you're playing as a striker, you need to score. It doesn't matter which keeper in front of you. One-on-one is like a penalty. And I would say they should score. And I know the keeper will make a save from time to time, but it's a golden chance for any striker to get a one-on-one like that, as he did. So, yeah, it was on target. Could have gone in. Great save. But as Sanchez, it's a poor miss. And it cost us a point as well. So, yeah, I feel for the guy. Like our team, we're sort of an underdog team, which I like to root for as well. And Langstaff is also a bit under pressure now, and I root for him to succeed because I really want to. I think there's a play in him. But as you also say, Joe, it's 2 steps up now.
Sorry, Jesper, I don't know if you can hear it, but your Wi-Fi is a little bit lagging at the moment. I don't know whether it probably looks okay at your end. That's all right. I just thought, could you hear? Is it just me, Angelo? Or could you see?
No, yeah, it keeps freezing as well.
It does. Yeah. Sorry, mate. I know,
okay. Is it better now? Or?
Yeah. Well, you're frozen a little bit, but I can hear your voice, which is the most important thing. So
okay.
Yeah, hopefully you can sort that out. We'll move on. Let's go back to the chat, guys, very quickly. So Ollie mentioned Langstaff is lacking confidence. He was one-on-one with a goalkeeper and panicked. I think if he was more confident, he'll put that one away. I think it's what you guys just said just then. Great shout. I want to go back to what Andy Herbert said. Really good point here. Remember Jesper storming off last season as he didn't get enough game time, and just look how well he's done since Billy has been out. So again, there's an argument to say if you're getting more game time, you get a run of action, run of minutes, you can evolve and become that player. And I think confidence plays a massive part in that. Connor said, I've heard that Ivanovic will be on the bench for QPR. Not sure if that's true or not, mate. It would not surprise me if that was the case. Andy Ivanovic, QPR last 15 minutes, mate. If it would not surprise. Is all I'm saying. Miles says, I feel like there is a player in Langstaff, and Carl says he doesn't score 70 goals in 2 seasons and become a bad striker. Absolutely. Moving on, guys. There was another point we need to talk about, which again is not particularly a great one. But we'll start off with Angelo, if you can hear me. Jake Cooper, Juicy Jake, out for, they're saying 1 to 2 weeks. Not quite sure of the extent of his injury, but he's obviously going to be missing for the QPR most definitely. First, can I get your thoughts on that? How that going to affect the team, and who would you have partnering Tanganga against QPR in his place?
Yeah, it looks like, I think he's just going to miss the QPR game by the sound of things, because he's got an incredible record, hasn't he, for not missing games. So I'm sure he's going to be desperate. Do you know the weird thing, right? When he went down on Saturday, he was down for a few minutes, but then he got carried on. He was running about perfectly fine, wasn't he? So it might have been just a slight strain and a precaution. Yeah, I'm Hutch all day long, mate. Hutch all day long.
Yeah,
I thought Hutch done all right. Just a couple of times he passed it back when he could have gone a bit forward. But yeah, I'm with Hutch all day long, mate.
And how about yourself, Jesper? Do you agree with Angelo? Who would you partner alongside Jake? Alongside Tanganga and Jake Cooper not being there?
Well. I think I have 2 answers of who would I want and what would make most sense. I like West Harding.
Jesper, sorry, mate. We can't hear you at the moment. It's just breaking up a little bit. Sorry, mate. Do you want to try again?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to try and fix the internet.
Do you want to, unless you want to try and log out and log back in again?
Yeah.
Do you want to give that a go? And we'll get you back in, yeah? Okay, mate. So while while Jesper's going to sort that out, we'll just carry on talking for the minute then Angelo. So obviously there are options. Possibly people talking about Wes Harding, Murray Wallace could step in. There's even an argument to say could Ryan Leonard step in and then move Danny McNamara at right back. But do you feel that Hutch did enough when he came on to stake that claim to get back into that position?
I don't think he'd done anything wrong, did he, mate? He had is it Adebayo, the striker?
Yes.
He didn't get away from him. Then Carlton Morris come on. Carlton Morris is a handful, mate, and he coped with him all right. And then obviously he's a threat. Danny Adler, he did have that header, didn't he, in the last minute?
Yeah.
So he's a threat. He's more of a threat at corners as well. And he's our club captain, isn't he, mate?
Yeah.
And I do believe there was a bit of a dodgy Hutchinson the first few games, but he was playing catch up with fitness, mate. I'm definitely going with Hutch.
Yeah. And I think also there's an argument to say that any player, it'll be funny, but I think even me and you, Angelo, I think if we were Jesper, you're back. Mate, your picture looks much better. So I'm hoping that your audio will be working okay now as well.
Right.
We'll just say about Hutch. And there's an argument to say that maybe Tanganga makes his partners look better or play better. I think if me and Angelo were playing alongside Tanga, I think we would look world class as well, wouldn't we? I think he does that, doesn't he, Tanga?
Yeah.
What players might lack in pace or whatever on the turn, he's very, very good at mopping us and smelling the danger. And I think he does that really well with Cooper. And I felt when you look at what Hutch did the other week when he played alongside Murray Wallace, they looked really sort of dodgy at the back there. Whereas when he came in, he had Tanganga next to him. Suddenly, Hutch looked like a much more confident sort of centre back. Tanganga was sort of like chasing the fast forwards, and it just allowed Hutch to kind of command his defence. So for that reason, I feel quite optimistic. But we're just saying to Angelo, Jesper, who else do you think could partner him? You've got the Murray Wallace as an option. We've got possibly Wes Harding, Ryan Leonard. Do you feel Hutch is definitely the right player to kind of partner on Saturday?
I think it's the most obvious choice to put him in there. And I also thought about today, who would I rather have injured, Coops or Tanganga? And I'm glad, so to speak, Tanganga, who's out for a couple of weeks. So I'm confident Hutch can do a job on Saturday for sure. With
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Bobby T, how you doing, Bobby, mate? Good to have you with us. So Bobby works in Harrods, I believe. So he said he saw him at his work. He's on the bench. 1-0 Wall on Saturday. The serve with the winner. So whether or not the serve Ivanovic has got his crystal ball with him, bit of Mystic Meg going on there. He's told you, Bobby. I hope he's right, mate. Obviously, it'd be great if he was involved, but who knows? We probably won't know till the day, unfortunately. Jeff, as much as I'd love to see Ivanovic in the side, surely it's important we don't rush him back. And he's out even longer. I think that we all agree with that one, guys. Harding, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wallace started and plays well. Interesting one, Wallline 94. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love Murray Wallace. I think he's a great guy. He's been a great servant to our club. But just this season, towards the end of last season, I can see the frailties now and then. I just don't think he's quite up to the level where he needs to be. I don't know what it is, whether it's a confidence thing or a physical thing, but yeah, I don't know whether Wallace would be my pick anyway.
Who would you play, Joe? Who would you play?
I agree with you guys. I think I'll go with Hutch. I'll go with Hutch. Don't get me wrong, I probably wouldn't have picked him prior to the Luton game, but when he came on, there was glimpses of the old Hutch again. He grew in stature, he was commanding, he looked good. But again, I think a lot of that is down to Tanganga partnering him. So as long as Tanganga stays fit, God.
And also, I saw Hutch really barking instructions at everyone as well, which I love.
Yes.
I saw a lot of that,
And you need that, especially where Jake's quite quiet and Tanganga doesn't seem to be the loudest either, does he? So having a commanding centre back definitely helps. Andy Herbert, no Cooper, no Coburn. Then we have no chance regarding set pieces and corners. I mean, Tanganga's not bad. I mean, I know he's not the tallest, but he's great at leaping, and Hutch can prove it himself with the header he had against Luton. They can be dangerous as well. So, but let's not rely on set piece. I think we're two better as a footballing team now, where we don't have to rely so heavily on set piece like we did before, and hopefully we could score some more in open play. Connor said, Harding for me. Hutch don't fill me with great confidence after the Bristol City game. I agree with you. Bobby T saying, where's Harding? I think he's around, mate, but sadly, I don't think Neil is a massive fan of his, unfortunately. Bobby T says Hutch is too old. I think he can do a job. I think he can come in and do what he needs to do. Ollie says, worried about pace with Hutch. But again, Ollie, what I'm thinking is, can Tanganga, cover for him in that situation? I mean, Cooper's not exactly the quickest either, is he? But how many times have we seen Tanganga get him out of trouble and cover for him? Harding,
Joe,
Harrison.
Can I just say, Joe, that if QPR plays with that big fella up front, we shouldn't be too worried about pace in behind. They have this big Swiss guy, Frey, I think it is. That's true. I don't know how tall he is, so I don't think we should be too worried in that instance.
About the pace side of it.
No,
you're right, exactly. Again, it'd be the physicality of it. But then I would say between Hutch and Tanganga, I think they proved it against Luton. We're probably arguably two of the biggest centre forwards in the Championship, and they dealt with them quite well. I mean, I didn't see them get much of a sniff, to be honest with you. So that doesn't worry me too much. Carl Bracey, Harding would be best. I'm just going to fly through his comments really quickly, guys. Who will be the bench? Wallace or Harding? Don't know, mate. Gary Miles, not sure what Harding has done. Funny the way he was warming up on Saturday. One thing about Harding, I must say, is that he's always getting overlooked, but his attitude is so spot on. You see him at half time, at full time. He's there clapping every player, shaking everyone's hand as they walk back into the tunnel. He's a real team player. What a lovely guy. I'm glad that he's still in there. I've been loving to see him play more games, but he's in the group, which is good. Andy Herbert says Tango was awesome. Luton game. That Taco's keep the ball on and then take it forward. He was quality. I think we will agree. A few more to go through. Jeff says, personally, I think Hutchinson reads the game so much better than Cooper. Yes, he lacks pace at his age, but so does Cooper. Couldn't agree more, Jeff. Andy Herbert, Langstaff hat-trick. Come on, let's hope so. Cole said, don't rush Ivan back. I think we all agree. And Big E, good to see you, mate. I hope you're all well. Evening, gents. Is it just me, or is it Langstaff, Alex Pearce in disguise at a distance? I don't know. I think he's got some resemblance to him, but he can run. Alex Pearce can't. I think that's the biggest the biggest difference, guys. We'll go back to you guys. So I'm going back to Jesper first, then Angelo. Tanganga. I mean, we covered Hutch, we covered Cooper situation. Tanganga performance against Luton. Talk me through not just his performance, but what he brings to our team, what he brings to us. Financially, there's people talking about the possible sell-on fees and what it could actually make him in the future. But how important is he to Millwall and our defence at the moment?
First of all, Joe, you can just cut me off if the internet is not working. But I think Tanganga plays a massive part. He's, the fact that we got him on a free is brilliant. I think Tanganga might have thought, due to the fact that he hasn't played many professional games, if you look at his history, he knew when he came to Millwall he was going to play week in, week out. So he was not risking anything. He was not. If he went abroad again, he could have risked his whole career by ending up on the bench, and no one would have known anything of him. So, and I think he just brings that solidity to our defence. He had Adebayo in his pocket all game on Saturday. He was so comfortable. A bit reckless at times, and I know that can be a bit controversial, but if he doesn't get that ball where he does the trick afterwards on Saturday, he's off. He whacks the guy and he gets the ball and he gets away with it in the Championship. And he nearly gives away a penalty in the first half as well. But I like his attitude, and I like that he's aggressive. You want that from a centre-back in a Millwall shirt.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Again, just cutting out a little bit there.
Jesper, sorry.
But luckily, I think we could all make out what you said there. I don't know whether you've got any tabs open on your internet. Maybe you might want to shut a few of them down.
Everything is shut.
I'm not an IT guru by any stretch of imagination, but whatever you can do.
Pornhub's down, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Turn the handle, keep it going. Angelo, over to you, mate. With regards to Tanganga, what's your thoughts? And please tell us what you think of him and how important he is to our team at the moment.
Tanganga's the star, mate, and he's the star of the show, mate. He's probably one of the best centre halves I've ever seen at Millwall, mate. Simple as that. And listen, we have definitely got one of the top 5 centre halves in the whole championship, mate. There's no doubt about it. And sadly, he will go for big money one day. I just hope that we can keep him for a couple of seasons at least. But yeah, he's super, mate. You know, I can only recall really one mistake, and that was last season when he was against Preston. He made some wayward pass and they scored from it. But that was a long time ago, mate. And you know, since he's been back, we've conceded 1 goal, and was a bit unlucky to concede that goal, to be fair, because he's just a star, mate. Absolute star. Love the guy, mate, and hope we can keep him forever. But
I think we're all in agreement, and Cole as well. So Tanganga is a superb defender,
and also Joe, I believe he's a very, very professional at training. He's one of the leaders. He's got this win mentality. You can see that on the pitch. He's always barking at people as well. He's a winner as well, mate. You know. Good,
excellent. Joe Bryan, Angelo, what did you make of his sort of shithousery there? I don't know whether you guys saw it, and the listeners in the chat. Millwall on their social media play that brilliant bit of skill from Tanganga where he sort of makes a great tackle and then sort of goes around Chong. But did you notice how Joe Bryan literally takes Chong out and then sticks his foot out and tries to sort of click clock as he's coming behind him as well? I mean, it's like a prime benefactor in my books. But what do you make of that? Is that a good thing? Do you like to see that sort of thing? Do you not like to see that sort of thing? Could it be quite costly?
Not really, mate. You know, you can easily get a red for stuff like that, mate. And it's I don't know what he was playing at. I don't know what was that before he got the bang on the head, or was that after? But yeah,
that's a good point. Actually, it might have been after. Yeah,
I think it was ridiculous, mate. And you know, I was hoping that obviously he had all his injury issues. He's had this operation over the summer. He was showing on Instagram constantly that he was doing extra training. So I was hoping that this season we'd see a really, really good Joe Bryan. And to be honest with you, there's only one really good performance where I made him man of the match, was Hull away. He played fantastic. But apart from that, he's not been that good, has he? He fumbled a chance to cross the ball in a vital area on Saturday. I don't know if you remember that bit. Langstaff
really overhit. Well,
yeah. And you know, Joe Bryan, that should be meat and drink for him to cross that over with his left foot. And he's missed the ball completely. His free kicks have been quite poor. I'm expecting a lot more, mate. And I don't know. I think you wanted to talk about this a bit later. But
I was going to say, it probably brings us on really, really nicely, actually, Angelo. So if you want to talk about it, we can carry on, and then obviously Jesper we can hear from you as well. But obviously Callum Scanlon came on, albeit it was for 10-15 minutes at the end for Joe Bryan. But what do you make of him? I know it's very difficult to make a assumption of his performance, but is he someone who you think can start over Joe Bryan, or is it too early for him? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I've heard that he is so bloody fast in training, mate. He's impressed everybody. Yeah, apparently he's been a star in training, and I think that's why he got his 15 minutes on Saturday. And yeah, mate, from what I saw, there was one wayward pass that I can recall. Yeah, but he looked pacey, he looked direct, and if he can start putting some pressure on Joe Bryan, I'm all for that, mate. Because hopefully that might make Joe Bryan react, and we get a better performance out of Joe Bryan. But I won't be averse to chucking him in, mate, soon. You know. But listen, Liverpool have given him to us for the season. They're going to want us to play him. And the signs from the reports I've heard back from training is that he's a star in the making, mate.
Would you agree with that, Jesper? Do you feel he looked out of sorts, or did he sort of fit straight in? Again, it's hard to sort of tell with 10-15 minutes game time, but did he do enough for you to sort of satisfy you to think, you know what, he deserves a start?
He looked lively, I have to say, and I like the fact that he was bombing forward, and he got us the last corner where we nearly equalised. So that's good. I like to see that. He will not start on Saturday. We're playing away from home, and I can't see him start over Joe Bryan. And slight segue, I think even Danny McNamara might come in on left back on Saturday, but we might touch on that later on. But I think he looked all right. Needs to find his feet, of course. He's a young lad. It was his first game, I believe. So, looked promising. But again, it was only 10, 15 minutes. Interesting.
Cheers, guys. I appreciate your thoughts and your feedback on that. In the chat, guys, I'd love to get your thoughts on Scannon. Who would you pick to play against QPR, guys, in the chat? Put in Scannon if you could spell it. It's SCANLON or anything near to that. We know what you mean. Or Bryan, BRYAN. Put it in the chat, guys, and let's see who we're going for. Moving on, Jesper, the BFS, the big fucking Serb. What's your thoughts on all this? I mean, could you make much of it? I mean, 1 minute he's out for like 6-8 weeks. Then we're hearing reports from Harris saying actually not going to be out that long. He could be back sooner. I mean, can you see him make an appearance anytime soon? And how desperate are we for him to actually make an appearance soon with the current injuries we have?
Well, I think the Coburn injury changes everything. I just don't think. I don't hope that we rush him in. It will be a disaster if he got injured in the first game that he plays. So if he's not playing this weekend, he might play against Preston, and that's fine. We need to cope with it. I'm excited to see him. You know, a Serbian, a young national player. The stature of him, he's 191 in centimeters. So he's a tall lad. Seems to be quite mobile, though. So maybe a bit different to Coburn. I think he could be a real hit, but it's just me hoping without knowing. But I think he could have, as some of my friends say, a bit of swagger about him that we haven't seen up front for a while. So I'm buzzing to see him, but I just don't hope that it will be at the expense of him getting injured because we're bringing on too soon. I really don't hope so.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jesper. And over to you, Angelo. I mean, 19 years of age. Apparently, he's got an injury on his metatarsal. Apparently, he's got an injury on his hamstring. Is it too soon to bring him back? Can you see him coming back? And again, how important is it to have a player of that kind of stature back in our squad again?
Well, Joe, I think it was a bit of a circus, wasn't it? We signed him, then we find out he's injured, then we find out he's out for 8 weeks. Then the next thing he's on a plane out to Serbia. Then they wanted to look at him, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is now he's come back. He's gone to see a top London specialist. And it now looks like they've actually found out what the problem is. It wasn't as serious as what we thought. Our guys now have had a proper time to have a look at him. Our fitness and science department have had a chance to have a look at him. And I think now we're in control of the injury, if Harris is saying that there's a slight chance for him to come on the bench on QPR, then he must be ready, mate. And we've just got to trust now the guy up, the specialist up London, and obviously our team of medics, mate. So excited. It's gonna be interesting to see what he's like, but it could be a superstar. It could be like the biggest waste of money we've ever had.
It does feel in some ways like we've signed another player, haven't we? After the transfer window, because obviously we haven't had a chance to actually see him play yet. So over the chat, guys, I think we're a bit unanimous in this. A lot of people are calling for Scannon. Cole says Scannon. Miles goes for Scannon. Interstellar beat Teller says Scannon. Sort of Carl's Ollie as well. Everyone's going for Scannon at the moment. I mean, again, could he surprise us, Harris, and play him on? I mean, the way that Joe Bryan went down, the way he landed on his neck, on his head. I mean, it'll be funny if you're knocked out, unless he's faking it. If you're knocked out, you should be playing. And I think the extent of that injury is that you could be out for a week or two with concussion. I'm thinking, so. Interesting one there, but who knows what will happen? Interstellar Beat Teller says someone said he's a Zampa Zlatan. So I love a bit of that. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Zlatan. Also, guys, to Jesper and to Angelo. Maybe Angelo, I'm not sure if Jesper would have saw that on the stream, but apparently Alfie Doughty, we know that he's a Millwall fan, or he was a Millwall fan, and although he plays for Luton, of course. But apparently he wore a Millwall shirt as he walked off the pitch. Now, I didn't see that. But allegedly there was rumours that he was wearing a Millwall shirt as he walked off the pitch, clapping Millwall fans. Again, in the chat, if any of you guys saw that or can, say that's true or not, then let us know. That'd be really appreciated. Did you see that at all, Angelo or Jesper?
I didn't see it, Joe, mate. I heard obviously from Chat with Chaps that he said like he's a big Millwall fan,
Yeah.
So no, I didn't witness any of that, mate. I didn't see him put the Millwall top on or anything.
Okay.
Well, did he cut the Millwall fans as well? Did he?
Well, apparently so. Again, I don't know. I walked out by that point. But again, in the chat, if anyone stayed long enough to see it, it'd be interesting. It's just quite nice. I mean, I'm not saying we've got any chance of signing him, but who knows? In the next sort of couple of years. So he's certainly a player I wouldn't mind having in.
He's a decent player, mate. Decent.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was quite clever what Luton done there, didn't they? They put him on Bryan's side. Because I think he got more change out of Bryan than Leonard,
Absolutely.
That was
absolutely. I think so, definitely.
Yeah.
Jesper, also, I want to get your thoughts on Femi Aziz. I mean, he hasn't had many starts. I think he's had one start, maybe. Come on as a substitute quite often. What do you make of him? Would you put him in the kind of Langstaff bracket in that he needs more game time? Maybe was that fair, or do you feel that he's probably not quite ready for Championship football? He done really well in League One last season with Reading, but is he actually good enough to play at this level?
Again, I would like to have that discussion again after maybe 10 or 15 games, but I wouldn't say I've been overly impressed so far. You see bits and pieces, but I don't know. I'm worried about the end product as well. He seems to also get stuck on the ball a couple of times on Saturday, as if it was like glued to his feet. He couldn't get it out of his feet quick enough. And the crossing as well was a bit, and I don't know. Not overly convinced by what I've seen so far. But again, players need time to settle in. There's a confidence thing and so on. But I hope it picks up. But he hasn't earned a starting place so far, I would say.
I think that's fair to say. Angelo, do you agree with Jesper there? What's your thoughts on Femi Aziz?
Yeah, I think Jesper's spot on. He definitely doesn't deserve to start yet. But again, I don't want to come down hard on these new guys until they've had like 15 games, But yeah, I was expecting a little bit more. So slightly disappointed from what I've seen so far. But again, I've heard that he's really willing to learn. He's been putting on a lot of effort in training. He loves Neil Harris. He says he joined us because of when Neil Harris spoke to him. So let's give the guy some time. And yeah, I'm happy for him to just keep coming off the bench, getting a few more minutes, and then hopefully, again, we've seen all the YouTube videos. He's got an unbelievable shot with his left foot, but we haven't seen that yet.
No. Again, guys, in the chat, let's get your thoughts on Aziz. What do you make of him as a player? Do you think he needs more time? Do you think he needs to start more games? Be interested to hear your thoughts. David Martin, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you. Love the show. Keep up the good work, and people like and subscribe. Yeah, please. I should have said this at the beginning of the show, actually, but yeah, now you guys are actually tuned in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It just helps with the algorithms for Chaps. If you don't know, I'm sure you do, but if you don't know, everything that this channel makes, any profit it makes, goes to Cancer Research UK. And yeah, so obviously by you liking the show, subscribing, do all these little things and commenting, it just really helps the algorithms. It allows them to kind of like broaden out to more subscribers and more people liking and viewing the show. So please, if you haven't done so, subscribe. If you're on there now at the moment, please click on the like button, or even after the show, click on the like button. If you're watching this on Twitter, don't mean to do it now, but at the end of it, just go back to the YouTube channel and click on the show if you wouldn't mind. The more likes we get and the more sort of activity we get, it just helps promote more money we get from YouTube, and all that money goes to Cancer Research UK, which we're really sort of happy about. Guys, we said at the beginning of the show, we want to try and get this under an hour. We're up to sort of 45 minutes, almost half time mark. So one thing I want to mention as well, and again, guys in the chat, I'd like to get your thoughts this as well, is Watmore. Watmore's had a great start to the season with us, Angelo, and he's played really well. He's contributed really well with goals, although he seemed to have a bit of a quiet game. on Saturday. Why might that be? Do you feel he was a bit leggy? Do you feel he looked a bit unfit? Do you feel he was carrying an injury? He just didn't quite look himself at that time. And I think, personally, I think we could excuse him to have one bad game. But what did you make of his performance? And do you feel there's something quite wrong there with how he played?
No, to be honest with you, Joe, it's like when we spoke about the Sheffield Wednesday game, it was like everybody was like 8, 9 out of 10, weren't they? And then I think against Luton, I'd say everybody was 6.5 out of 10, apart from Tanganga, who was a star. So I just think we can't expect him to have a worldie every single game. I don't know if I thought he looked tired. He just didn't have a super game, But who did have a super game? It was although I think Denor played really, really well on Saturday as well. Actually, Denor and Tanganga stood out, and then the rest were like all pretty average. To be fair, mate, I thought. Listen, it's one game. He's had a great start. 4 goals, 2 assists. And he scored a couple of seasons ago, didn't he, at QPR? So let's hope he repeats that out on Saturday, gets back on the scoring track.
That's it. And also, Jesper, to yourself, obviously, from your point of view, watching Watmore, I mean, was it a surprise that he was kept on? I think they had a substitute that took Essay off, didn't they, for Watmore, I think it was. And they kind of let...
Yeah.
So Essay came off for Emaku, sorry. Where I personally thought maybe they should have took Watmore off and kept Essay on. But he kind of kept Watmore and played in that kind of number 10 role, but it wasn't really that effective. From your point of view, watching the game, obviously on the stream, what did you make of Watmore's performance? And is there anything for us to be worried about at the moment, or you just think he just had a bit of a bad one?
No, I think you have to look at it differently and not only look at Watmore's performance. I think what Luton did was they quite nullified our threat from the wings. If you look at Essay as well, he didn't have the same impact, maybe as he's had in other games as well. So I think they did really well, Luton, from that perspective. And I know we hate to admit it when the opposition get it right, but I don't think anyone had a particularly poor game, but he wasn't as influential maybe as he's been in the first 4 games. That's true. But then again, he scored 4 goals in 4 games that we can't keep expecting the same performance every game. I think Luton just were very solid defensively and maybe made Watmore look a bit more average than he has been in the first 4 games. I don't think we should be too concerned.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying there, and I completely agree with you. By the way, you sound beautiful now, and you look beautiful. So
thank you.
Well done, Jesper. Gary
Right,
Miles. Gary Miles, I love that comment. So Gary says it seems the old Watmore on Saturday seems to be blowing out of his arse before half time. Gary, I you know what? I agree with you. I was sitting next to my boy, my son, on Saturday in the game, and I looked at him, and it was almost like, hang a bit, that's like the old Watmore. It's almost like a Scooby-Doo sort of sketch, isn't it? When you want to take the fucking the mask off, and it's actually Watmore underneath it. I'm sure it was someone else before the last few games, but that reminded me of the old Watmore, sadly. And he did look like he's playing out his arse a little bit. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Where he didn't have his Cocoa Pop Saturday morning, something wasn't quite right, was it? It wasn't like his old self. So interesting. Connor mentions Denor, Tango, and Essay. If they go, they will leave for a lot. We've got to end the show soon, but guys, we'll start with you, Jesper, and also after that, we'll go to Angelo. But Jesper first, do you agree with that statement? Do you feel we've got some real good sell-on values with these 3 players? And would you be sad to see those guys go if we're going to reinvest and buy some more players from that?
Yeah, I do believe we have great assets, and I think also the strategy we see that the club is implementing by bringing in more youth as well is clearly a step in that direction. And the 3 that he mentions are clearly probably the biggest assets we have right now. We have to see how the Serbian gets on. Then you have the likes of Daniel Kelly. We have our own Massey. We have Emaku, and there's a lot of positives there, and I'm really excited for the future, at least for these young guys, and also the players mentioned here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all excellent points there. Angelo, what's your thoughts on that? So Denor, Tango, Essay. Obviously, we're looking at potentially Millwall moving to this sort of new module of reinvest, buy players cheap, young players, develop them, sell them on for a massive profit, and then reinvest that money and do the same thing again. A bit like how Brentford have done it, Brighton have done it, Norwich, a few others like that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, listen, I think it is the way forward. It's just going to be gutting when they go, isn't it, mate? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, in the past, mate, when we've sold, like, you know, obviously I've been going to Millwall a long, long time, and like when Teddy Sheringham left, I was devastated, mate.
Me too.
When John Fashioner, I don't know if you remember John Fashioner, when he left, I nearly cried.
That's slightly before my time. I'm only 27. I'm only 27 and a half. So,
you know, Tim Cahill, when he, you know, it's horrible when they leave.
That was sad. Stephen Reed when he went.
I think it's the right way, mate. Yeah, as long as we reinvest the money in the right place. But yeah, we've got a lot of gems, mate. I really think I saw little bits in that Daniel Kelly, mate, that I think he's going to be a super player, mate.
And did he play for the under-21s as well? And he absolutely had a great game, apparently. He was like commanding, and I'm quite excited to see what he can bring. Yeah. But the difference is back in those days, though, Angelo and Jesper, is that when we sold players, we sold them for next to nothing. I think we got $2.5 million for Tim Cahill, and look what he went on to become at Everton, a real sort of Premiership star. You know, so the difference is now is that we're not a sort of club that just sells players cheap. We proved that with Fleming, last season. We've had bids for SA, if we believe that's true, you know, and we've turned these bids down, and we're not being that kind of desperate club to sell on, which is a good thing, I think, you know.
Guys, can I bring something up that you didn't put on the agenda, right? I've seen a lot of this all over Twitter, right? I'd like to get your views on it. A lot of Millwall fans think we lost on Saturday because they switched us. They switched the.
It's funny you say that. If you're superstitious, a lot of Millwall fans do think that, and I can't recall a time. I don't know whether you guys can answer this for me or even in the chat. Has there ever been a time that we've actually switched ends and won? I don't recall that ever happening, to be honest with you. And it doesn't often happen. We do switch ends. No. But to your point there, Angelo, when it does happen, it's almost like, oh, here we go. Like, you know, you dread the worst.
It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. Like,
I know.
It's like,
Which is interesting, because you do think to yourself, like, why don't clubs do that more often? Like, you know, when we play against other teams and they obviously win the toss, they kick off first. They don't decide to sort of, you know, change ends, which is a bit weird. But
maybe we shouldn't talk about it, should we?
I know. We don't give the ideas to the other teams. But I do love Millwall shooting towards Coburn Lane in the second half. I look forward to that. It's that second half I really look forward to more than the first half, you know. Jesper, very quick one. So Saville went for 7.8 million. I don't think we kind of got all that in one go, did we? I think it was in installments over a long period of time. But again, he was probably another player we got some decent money for. If you remember at the time, we were going to lose Jed Wallace as well, and somehow he managed to kind of keep hold of Jed, and only Saville went. So I think we've moved forward now as a club. I think we're financially we're a bit more stabilised. We don't need to sort of sell cheap like we used to in the old days. So long may that continue. And look, to your point, guys, as much as we don't want to lose our best players, and it's very sad to see likes of Denor go or Tanganga or SA. If that brings in great money for us, and we can then buy 2 or 3 decent players out of it and evolve, then I'm all for it, and I wish them all the best. Guys, anything you want to add? We'll go to you first, Jesper, and then Angelo. Anything you want to add before we say goodbye to the listeners?
Well, I want to apologise to all the listeners and viewers for my very bad internet. I'll make sure to fix it for the weekend.
That's Danish Wi-Fi for you. Can I just say, in the UK, we don't have that problem, do we, Angelo?
No.
I can tell you, I lived near Rains Park when I lived in London, and I can tell you the internet was shit as well. But anyway. But there you go. No, I'm really excited for Saturday. I'm also a bit nervous. If we lose that game on Saturday, it will be 1 win, 1 draw, and 4 losses. And if we don't score on Saturday, it will be 4 out of the last 5 games where we haven't scored. So I think there's a bit of stake on Saturday to put our mark down and hopefully get a win, but at least get a point. I think it's vital psychologically, and I'm excited, but I'm also nervous for Saturday. I have to admit.
I'll be honest with you, I was quite excited and optimistic until hearing that, but you made a great point there, and let's hope we get that win. We definitely need it. It's been a while since I think we beat QPR away as well. Angelo, anything you want to add before we finish off?
I don't know why. I've just got this sneaky feeling that we're going to see Danny Mack in the starting lineup. I don't know why, mate. I've just got this feeling.
I felt that as well.
That we're going to see him on Saturday. I don't know where, but I don't know. Just got a feeling he's going to come in. But I just hope that we put on Saturday, Joe. I just hope that we put somebody up with Langstaff and don't leave him on his own, because he's going to struggle on his own, mate. Especially while his confidence is down.
Yeah.
I would actually put a Mako up there with him, because Mako can stretch the defenders. Maybe beat the defenders, cross it over. Langstaff puts it in. So it sounds easy. But, similar to that goal we made for SA. Because I think Langstaff just needs some service from the wings.
Yeah.
And the one time I saw him Mako play up front was Preston away last season, and he caused no end of trouble. But he never ever played in there again. But
no.
again, I don't think I don't think Harris is a massive fan, is he, of Mako?
Well, I think Mako, I met him at the end of season of Wolves, and he actually said to me he doesn't enjoy playing striker. He said he doesn't like the physicality with the defenders, the centre back. He doesn't like playing with his back to goal. He said when he plays as a winger or as a left winger, he loves facing the goal, attacking defence, taking the fullbacks on. He said. I'm
pretty sure though, for the under-21s for Ireland, he plays up front.
He probably does, but I guess when you play against younger sort of defenders, it's a different type of physicality, isn't it? When you play against really kind of well-known, established championship defenders, they probably know how to kind of get the better of the strikers. And he just said that he doesn't particularly enjoy playing with his back to goal, which I could kind of understand a player who's quite young and learn his trade still.
I feel like we'll get a result on Saturday. I'm feeling really confident, mate.
Well, let's end off very, very quickly. I mean, guys, lineups in the chat. You're welcome to put those in there. I want to try and keep this under an hour, so we're going to finish off soon, guys. But lineups in the chat if you can, and then very quick prediction from you, Angelo, then Jesper. How do you think we're going to do, and what's your score?
I'm going for 2-1 to Millwall. You want the goal scorers, mate?
Yeah, go on then.
Right, I'm going to go Hutch and Langstaff.
Oh God! Here we go. Jesper, what's your prediction? Who he's going to score as well?
It's not going to be the usual optimistic me. I think it'll be 1-1, and I think Jesper de Nor will score.
Right, okay, I like that. I think I'm going to go for a smash and grab, sort of 1-0. I'm going for Langstaff to score the winner. Again, in the chat, put your prediction there very, very quickly, guys. Let's try and have it before we wrap up. You know what? I think Langstaff gets a little bit of stick from Millwall fans, myself included. I was fuming that he missed that chance on Saturday. But what does it for me is that you can see there's a player that works hard. There's a player that wants it. He's trying his hardest, and I think he needs that little bit of luck. He needs that one goal, just kind of set him off, build that confidence, and then if he gets a run of 5-6 games of carrying on scoring, isn't that a good problem to have when Coburn comes back, or even Ivanovic if we ever do see him? So let's hope that. Joe,
can I quickly say something on that, mate? Right?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah,
I remember Langstaff when he done his club Millwall TV interview. Right, he said he went, people have always doubted me every level that I've played.
Remember that? You're right.
And I always like to prove people wrong. I'm not even wondering whether Harris was playing mind games with him as well, mate. Where he hasn't really praised him a lot, has he? He's not spoke about him a lot, and I hope that's his character, and that he's going to prove us all wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think we should give him any grief till he's played 10-15 games.
Yeah.
And just support the guy and wish him the best.
Brilliant. Good. Well, let's end it there, guys. We're up to 59 minutes. So we've got it just under an hour, which is what I wanted to do.
Bomb's going to go off in a minute.
I know, exactly. And Angelo, Jesper, again, really appreciate your time, guys, being on here. Thank you so much for answering the questions for us tonight. Really, really appreciate it. To the listeners, again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Really enjoy the chat. Really enjoyed your comments in the comments section. And let's hope we get the 3 points on Saturday. We desperately need that win. Let's hope that we get the result, and let's hope that Langstaff gets his first goal and everyone will be home happy. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Let's look forward to the Saturday, and we'll catch you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. on our live. All the best, guys. See you later.
Hello, guys.